Welcome folks to Social Media Wednesday, where we will be talking about all the best and greatest things happening in social media. So today's topic for this week is going to be on Twitch live streaming and the future of live streaming. So I recently went to a social media video marketing YouTube conference, and there was a lot of people there that were up there in age. There's nothing wrong with that. And they were there and they're trying to get to understand social media better. And some of these people were giving advice and their own predictions and insights on social media. It's a hard thing by the nature of the industry and nature of how these platforms work to really predict, even if you know what you're talking about and you know what's going on, the future of this stuff. Is Twitter going to go out of business? Is YouTube going to stick around? However, today we're going to be talking about just Twitch and live streaming. So in terms of what was said there, they said that the future of live streaming is the future of the internet. And I kind of screwed that up. The point is that they thought that live streaming was the future. Done being. And they didn't just mean Twitch live streaming. They said that other forms of live streaming, Periscope, Meerkat, all this stuff where you can live stream to people on your phone is going to be the future. Now, here's what's wrong with that, in my opinion, in my humble opinion, which may be wrong in and of itself. First and foremost, to say that this is the future would to imply, and this is what I thought they were implying, that everything else would go extinct. That everyone would stop watching YouTube videos, everyone would start watching pre-recorded content, and everyone would just start live streaming stuff. And all the types of YouTube channels out there and other types of video content and everything else you can consume on social media would just stop. And everyone would go to live streaming because it's the future. And that's just completely false in my opinion. I could be wrong. And I personally think that all of these things will have its own space. I mean, if you were a millennial or you were of the younger generation and you understood how the culture of certain vlog channels worked and YouTube, and if you understood that billions of people, and that number is growing, billions of people are coming on every month to watch YouTube videos and less people are watching TV, you might understand how incredible all these different things are. So the point I'm trying to make here is that I do think that live streaming is the future. However, everyone's saying that Twitch is like the big thing. And you know, there's a lot of people who are kind of confused. It's like overwhelming. They're like, what is this? What about Periscope and Meerkat? I'm hearing about these new things on the mobile phone that you can use. Will those things outcompete Twitch? Will Meerkat and Periscope destroy Twitch? I mean, all I'm hearing from the young ones are about these things. So I'm guessing they're going to beat Twitch. And they don't understand the market like an actual gamer or viewer of Twitch like I am, or someone who's used Periscope and Meerkat as a viewer and as a broadcaster. So first off, they're completely different things. Like Meerkat and Periscope are usually for someone who's like very casual, who just wants to like stream live to people on their phones. Twitch, on the other hand, is intensive. Like, it requires 60 frames per second. It requires like a setup on your computer, which most likely, if you want it to run well, you probably want that thing like liquid cooled, or you want that, you know, gaming system or PC to work pretty darn well, depending on the game, of course. I mean, certain games like the top stream game, League of Legends, it's very, you know, unintensive in terms of how much it works the PC. But you get the point. Like, streaming and, you know, the whole gaming community is very different from what you can stream on your freaking iPhone to an audience. I mean, there's a huge market for Periscope and Meerkat. I just found out that there's 2 million active users per day on Periscope, and that number is growing out of the 10 million registered users. That's an incredible amount. And obviously Meerkat and Periscope's competing. However, you know, the point is they're completely different markets. And sure, Twitch is the king right now, and Twitch is literally like the only streaming platform. YouTube in the last month or so tried to roll out this beta live streaming. They simplified it, and people aren't jumping on. People aren't jumping onto this live streaming thing, as far as I can tell. They're sticking to Twitch. And from what I can tell, the reasons are because of many things: ease of use and certain built-in compatibility features that Twitch has grown for a while that make it better. For instance, you can hit a button and subscribe to someone for $5 a month. You can donate any amount you want, and also they have a live chat that has a lot of coding behind it on the back end, where you can do a lot of interactive stuff built into the stream. And there's a bunch of things that can occur based off how users of that chat type in certain things. So long story short, it's very interesting. Twitch has the upper hand now. If YouTube can literally copy all this and put it onto YouTube as well at the same level of quality, perhaps people will start moving back. But again, there's a lot more to it too. I mean, twitch.com, if you look at the homepage, you can explore and find new people to follow who are streaming right now. So if YouTube can copy all of that over, they have a chance. But right now, they're still just getting the streaming alone down. They don't have a follow feature. They don't have a subscribe for $5 a month feature. They don't have a donation feature. And Google Wallet, no one uses Google Wallet. They've been trying to only stick to Google Wallet, and I think it's hurting them. If they would split out to PayPal and other ways for people to donate and different transaction systems, it would work better. But because YouTube is tied to Google, they're only using Google Wallet. So unless they realize that and start switching gears, Amazon's, and I say Amazon because Amazon owns Twitch because they bought it for $1 billion about a year ago, Amazon will keep ahead. So I could go on and on about this, and again, I'm still learning. I'm not an expert at it yet, and I'm still trying to figure things out, but those are just my opinions on the topic. And finally, most importantly, as far as Twitch being the leader, #1 in terms of live streaming, a lot of Americans, even Canadians, everyone on the Western Front, who don't truly understand everything, that's what they say. They're like, Twitch hands down, there's nothing else. Twitch is the leader, the future is in live streaming, look at all these things, Periscope, Meerkat, Twitch. And I'm like, that's not the case at all. If you simply look at it either from a history perspective, in terms of business history, whether it's business history in a broad sense, like US Steel versus Bethlehem Steel, or owned versus Twitch, you can tell that there's a almost constant history of competition. And nowadays I do think that Twitch has gone way ahead of everyone else. But if you look at it from a global perspective, you realize how competitive things are. So if you go to China or Korea or anywhere else, the live streaming platform that they use to game is not Twitch. And that's huge because the gaming culture in these huge countries are even bigger in certain ways than in Western countries. Literally, Korea is the hub of League of Legends. Their whole infrastructure is built towards online gaming. That's why Faker, who is known as the unkillable demon god, is pretty much Michael Jordan in Korea. I literally I randomly bumped into this guy while I was visiting a area, and I randomly bumped into this guy. So I was talking to this guy who worked for SK Telecom. SK Telecom is the #1 telecommunication service in Korea. And more importantly, if you were to mention that name to any League of Legends player in esports, they would go crazy. Why? Because SK Telecom is the team that's sponsoring Faker's team, which is which is the crowd favorite globally to win the World Championships of League of Legends this year. I mean, again, esports is huge, and I don't want to geek out or get too in depth so you'll lose me, but the point is that esports is huge right now. The point is, I was talking to him and asking him all these questions about the esports community there and streaming and social media, and if they use YouTube and what other stuff that they use. And I'm just going to leave you with one thing I learned from him. And this guy, he meets with Faker, who is almost impossible to get into contact with. Like, you can't even touch this guy because he's practicing 12 hours a day, you know, trying to be the world championship at this. And one thing he said, which I found very interesting, was that without a doubt, the only streaming platform that they use in China and Korea is this thing, and it has a weird name, but it's not Twitch. It is not Twitch. So you can already see on a global perspective, you know, it's hard to even, you know, branch out and keep that dominance. I'm sure YouTube and Google and Facebook and Amazon and Twitch have tried on some level to branch out globally and take over, or at least have some market share in these other countries. But that's not true. And so it really angers me a bit, frustrates me a bit when I hear all this stuff. Oh, Twitch is the leader right now. Oh, you know, Periscope is the king of live streaming. And so I think that's far from the truth, and you can kind of see how competitive the landscape can be. However, I do think that there's tremendous potential for live streaming in the future as well. Not just for gaming, which is like the go-to, for gamers, which comprise a community of tens of millions of people playing different video games. Live streaming is the go-to. Like, people are making a living live streaming games. And no, it's not that easy to do. It's very competitive of a landscape to be a full-time live streamer. But I personally think that there's also a lot of potential for live streaming in terms of all sorts of other topics. And whoever starts jumping onto this early on can have a huge advantage. So of course we do have Periscope and we do have Meerkat, but I do think the true potential for this is very convenient, high quality HD level live streaming for a bunch of other channels, a bunch of the other topics. Vloggers, beauty gurus, you name it. And I'm not talking what they have on Periscope or Meerkat now. Right now, you have to hold your phone vertically, like so. And the quality of the stream is okay, and it's alright. But the issue is that, you know, it's not the best quality, and it is on your phone. So I think there's a lot of potential, possibly, if YouTube jumps on this and they flip it sideways and you get some high definition level stream either through your phone or some other device that goes straight to YouTube. I don't know, it's just a possible option. Finally, another thing from my Korean friend, just to illustrate the power and dominance and growth of esports right now. So there's a guy, and everyone knows this man's name in the League of Legends community as far as the esports community is concerned. His name is Dade. He was one of the members of the previous League of Legends World Championship. This guy is almost flawless in how he plays. Anyhow, after he won, he was offered a lot more money to play in China, like a tremendous lot more. And the reason was because of how vast China is and how it can support such a esports community. And so there's a tremendous amount of money, and even though Korea is like the leader in esports and winning these world championships, Dade, as well as many other Koreans, have been moving to other countries, including China, to play for a lot more money. So that's just very interesting. And again, let's just say the Korean salaries for these professional gamers are pretty large in and of itself. So that's all I gotta say. That's all I have to say for Social Media Day of this week. Hopefully you learned something, and all I ask you to do in this video is share this with someone you think will watch the entire thing, or at least most of it. That's all. I'll see you next week. Thanks for watching. Peace.